As pandemic continues to batter our lives, leaving us with collective grief and anxiety, comedian Amit Tandon started free online sessions for COVID-positive patients to lift their spirits. Amit Tandon, with his initiative Talk Positive series, reached out to thousands of patients and made them feel better. NewsX proudly recognizes second wave superhero, comedian Amit Tandon.
Hello and welcome. I'm Amit Tandon. You're joining us on a brand new interview as part of our second wave superheroes series on NewsX. Joining us today is well-known comedian Amit Tandon. Amit, welcome to NewsX. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Uday. My pleasure.
Now, Amit, of course, did a series of free comedy shows for COVID-19 patients who were in home quarantine to brighten up their spirits. So, firstly, congrats on the idea, on, of course, carrying this out, the service really, Amit, in this very tough time. Tell us about how this idea started. It was called Talk Positive. How did the idea come about?
So, when the second lockdown started, it was fairly depressing for me also because, we were locked up again. And we never expected that it will hit us so hard.
Yeah.
We were thinking that, last year when it started, we were like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, that's all that it will be. So second time it was very, very depressing. So, I was feeling very frustrated. And then I thought that if I, who is not COVID positive, still has a home to move around or can go downstairs for a walk in his society, how tough it would be mentally for people who are locked up in one room or quarantined in one room, for 15, 20 days. It must be really tough. So that's how I got the idea. I said, okay, let's talk to people who are corona positive, tell them that there are people who want to talk to them. So it was not really a comedy show that I would do. I would get 25, 30 of them in one Zoom call, which would be around 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
And I would just talk to everybody, encourage them to tell them about themselves.
Yeah.
And then we would joke about each other, So sometimes people will talk more than I talk because, they were sitting alone. In these times to see 25 faces without masks was a big deal for everyone.
Yeah.
And they were full of things to talk about. They wanted somebody to listen to them. So that's what the sessions were about, and it was an interesting experience. We ended up doing around 20 shows. So
wow. So this would have, I mean, and would it be, would the same people be joining multiple times sometimes, or would you try and keep different sets?
No, it was different set of people every time. So because I expected that there will be 50, 60 people who will probably send us a message or whatever.
Yeah.
But within the first 2 days, we had like 2,000 people, messaging us, sending us emails.
Yeah.
So we had to actually go back and create, forms that people could fill online.
Yeah.
So that we could start sending them, specific slots and everything. So that was the process.
Fantastic. And and did you expect this kind of response? When you first set out the idea that you would be doing so many shows in this period.
Absolutely not. I was thinking maybe 3, 4 shows, 5 shows would happen, not more than that. But 20 was beyond my expectation. And I was thinking maybe 14, 15 people every time we would get, but we had to put in like 30, 35 people, 40 people per show.
Yeah. What were the kind of questions which would come your way? Like you said, it was more of a conversation than like a virtual stand-up show. So what kind of questions would people ask? Would people ask you to, tell them a joke to make them smile? Would they ask you some of their fears as well? What were the kind of conversation like?
It was a mixed bag. So sometimes there were people who wanted to know how I write comedy, what happens in my family, what I am doing. But then a lot of times I would be asking them questions. Ki COVID kaise hua? Kahan hua? Where are you sitting?
Yeah.
And we had people from all parts of the world. So we had people joining in from US, we had people joining in from Maldives, Singapore, Dubai, and all these places. But most of the time it was just they were happy that there was somebody who was listening to them.
Yeah.
That was just what they wanted to, we would just discuss. They would, more than asking me questions, they wanted to share their own problems. Okay, I have been sitting home for the last 6 months. I don't know how I got corona, so they were frustrated. some people wanted to, have a good time, who had corona but really didn't, had any symptoms or anything.
Yeah.
So they wanted to joke around.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would make fun of each other, or have fun with each other. So that's what it became.
Okay. Well, that's great that you were doing this, and you were doing it, of course, free in this very tough time. But and do you believe, Amit, that this was your way of helping people's mental health? Because we often spoke about physical health during the pandemic, how to boost one's immunity, of course, medicines to get one better, but not many conversations were had on mental health, which has really suffered a lot in this pandemic, hasn't it? And the lockdown.
Absolutely, I think with the kind of messages I was getting, I felt that yes, it made some difference to people, because even at my home, I could see the frustration growing, because I have two teenage kids
Mhm.
who missed their entire 11th and 12th standard. Okay, they're sitting at home; they've not met their friends for over an year and a half, and mental health is taking a major toll. So
Yeah.
what happens in every emergency situation, uh, there is the materialistic help which is important, whether it is money or it is medicines and all of that. But in addition to that, one very important component is hope,
Mhm.
that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Because if people stop seeing that light at the end of the tunnel, they'll stop working,
Yeah.
they'll stop fighting,
Yeah.
so to say. Okay, same is the case here also in COVID, where people stop seeing
Yeah.
that there is some end to it. Because
Yeah. You have to give
there
them
are,
hope. Yeah.
there are a lot of conversations which are like, Arey, is this how the world is going to be from now
Yeah.
onwards?
Yeah.
Are we always going to wear masks? Are
Yeah.
we going to spend so much
Yeah.
time at home?
Yeah.
So there it becomes very important to instill that positivity, that hope in people. uh, make sure that they laugh for some time, they forget about the stress that they have all around you. And that's what, being a comedian, that's what I am limited to, that's what I can contribute.
Are you doing that at home also these days? Trying to bring a smile on people, cracking a joke. Do your relatives and friends call you up? Ki yaar hasa do hame, Amit.
No, it's not on demand service, but yeah, within my home, like with my kids and my wife. So the four of us, fortunately there are four of us who are together, because in some places I've seen people are stuck alone also. Somehow we keep on taking the baton from each
Yeah.
other. When one is down, the other, somebody else would pick
Yeah.
it up and say that, okay,
Yeah.
it's bad day, let's plan next vacation, let's do this, let's
Yeah.
play a game. So that support system has grown within the
Okay.
home.
Okay. Well, we certainly congratulate you for your efforts, Amit, and wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.